Hey everyone, hi, it's Lisa Clayton of lisaaclayton.com and the leader and founder of the Inner Leader Movement. I wanted to jump on here today and give you the angel astrology report for this full moon lunar eclipse, along with what's happening tomorrow with the Pluto Saturn conjunction that every astrologer is talking about. So, just to back up a little bit and let you know what angel astrology is. As I was working with the angels and getting downloads as I do every single day, it's about 10 years ago. I was out on Serenity Bluff. I live here in Half Moon Bay, California, beautiful, overlooking the Pacific Ocean. And they said, you need to do astrology, bring in astrology reports for your clients. And I'm like, I'm not an astrologer. And they said, yes, you are. You remember when you were a little girl and you used to lay in those pasture fields on the farm where you grew up and you knew every constellation in the sky, you knew every planet, you won every science fair about planets, you love astrology. And I do. I've studied astrology all my life. I integrated into my own life. And they said, and so we're going to help you with it. We want you to get the key concepts of what's happening astrologically, and then we'll bring in the main guidance and the information that will help people navigate through the energy. So that's what I do. I work with everyone's heart. I work with the heart of angels. And so that's what they are guiding me to do, is to help people in their emotional states and in their physical states as this energy comes on into Earth from the full moon and from other astrological events. So I do the solstices, I do different seasonal changes, and have the angels come in with what they are downloading for me. So it's pretty exciting. So every month in Half Moon Bay, California, I start preparing about 3 days before each full moon, and I gather 15 people in what we call a full moon circle. And the reason I only do 15 is because I do intuitive readings for each person in that circle. So you can imagine, as they choose their angel card and connect with their heart on how to manage through the energies of these full moons, it takes a lot of time. So I've had to limit it to 15. So there's a lot of information that comes through in these full moon circles. And I can't really share that until the day after the full moon, because people are saying, you need to do the report before. Well, I can't really do it before because information changes on the actual day of the full moon. So I'm going to share with you today tips and techniques, because the energy is still very, very potent. It's still applicable. It's usually 3 days after the full moon. And then we've got this big, huge Pluto Saturn conjunction coming up tomorrow. So let me just take a brief overview of some of the astrological alignments and things that are happening with the planets. And then I'm going to go right into the themes that the angels brought forth. And then the angels that came through last night, to help facilitate key concepts that are important to go very, very deep with during this very, very potent and powerful time of energy. So we have the first full moon of 2020 comes with the lunar eclipse. Now, the eclipse season actually started on Christmas Day when we had a solar eclipse. So from Christmas Day until now, we've been feeling this eclipse energy. And what is that eclipse energy? Well, for a lunar eclipse, that's where the Earth is sandwiched between the sun and the moon. So there's these, it becomes dark. So the same thing with the solar eclipse. And so that darkness brings forth almost like for us to go deep. So it's like a contraction. Most of my clients that I work with one-to-one in the Inner Leader Movement, they have just felt squeezed and contracted during this eclipse season. So it started on Christmas Day, and it comes with a lunar eclipse. And then the next eclipse season starts in June. So we've had this contraction, this squeezing since Christmas. So that's why when the calendar flipped to January 1, we were like, really? New Year? Oh my gosh, I'm still feeling, like there's so much. And I mean, I actually came down with a virus. I mean, I went down hard on January 1, and I know why, because I needed to slow up and take in more information about the new year. So just because the calendar page flips doesn't mean the energy changes. Okay, so the energy of this eclipse season was real. It was really constricting us. And the eclipse always gives us that opportunity to look at the shadow side and what we need to release. So that's one of the themes that the angels came through, is to dig deep, dig deep. So 2019 really was about releasing, peeling off the layers, excavating all of this stuff that these old stories and the things that aren't true about us. So like for those of us who are waking up and getting connected, we were just peeling like an onion, layer after layer after layer, getting ready for this new decade. So we were like chugging along, chugging along, chugging along. And just because January 1st came doesn't mean we're quite complete with that. And so that was a big, huge aha for me, because I went down, and they're like, yeah, you need to stay down because there's still some things that you need to forgive. There's still some things that you need to clear out of your energy field. And I was like, whoa. So that was actually one of the angels that came through last night in our circle. So what happens in our circle is that I'm a certified heart math coach and master trainer. And so I do a lot of heart math, which is the science of the heart to come into calm and coherency. So we do a lot of techniques, and then we go right into a meditation to open up our hearts into this coherent field to receive the messages of the angels. And after we do this beautiful meditation, then I shuffle the angel cards and see what angels come forth to assist us in these beautiful themes that they have already downloaded to me to share with the group. So the first angel that came through was Jophiel with forgiveness. And notice that Mother Mary is on this card, or it could be Mary Magdalena. It could represent any mother figure. And that's one of the themes for this astrological event, because Cancer, this lunar eclipse is in Cancer, and Cancer is the sign of the mother. So this forgiveness, this eclipse going, and one of the themes was going deep, go deep in and forgive. So Jophiel comes through with, yeah, and by the way, you better take really, really good care of yourself. So this is about mothering yourself and nurturing and mothering others through this very intense, potent, powerful astrological time. So this was really, it was like, I was like, I'm so glad Jophiel came through, because this is the message I got on January 1st. You need to work with forgiveness. And that's a lot of things that kind of going into those corners, really recalling the time, the stuff that you're still holding on to that you feel resentment for, or could have been something that somebody said at the holiday table that always triggers something in you. That's where we dig deep and forgive. So that Cancer, the Cancer energy, this full moon in Cancer is bringing out these emotions. Okay, it's a water sign. Capricorn is a sun sign, so it's more earth, it's more structure, it's more goals, it's more of the achievements. So you've got the earth sign and the water sign coming together. So it's kind of like, yeah, got earth, got water, we got the goat, which is Capricorn on top of the mountain, kind of cold up there. And then we've got these watery emotions flowing. So there's that type of energy that's happening with just that full moon in Cancer in the Capricorn sign. And then we have the eclipse. So the eclipse adds a whole nother dimension to it by having us go into that shadow side. So some of the themes that the angels came up with is, first of all, radical. And they said radical. Put the word radical before self-care. So this is a good time to really take some time out. If you could do so, especially tomorrow and the coming week, really take a deep dive into your self-care practices. So what, and also with the self-care practices come the spiritual practices. That was also, I'm looking at my charts that I did. Um, yeah, so that is also one of the themes that the angels came through was not only the radical self-care, really dig deep into your spiritual practices. So whatever your spiritual practices are, they could be prayer, could be meditation. Um, for me, it's meditation and talking to the angels and doing pulling cards. That is really significant for me. I write. I'm an author. I write. The downloads that come through, and so they want us to go deeper into the spiritual practices at this time because this watery energy of Cancer is bringing up a lot of emotions. Now, the emotions is another key concept. Is feel and deal with emotions. So feel into your emotions and know that they are your truth. So if you're feeling angry or ticked off, what is underneath that anger? What is underneath being ticked off? And that's what needs to be released and examined. So it says find the truth in your emotions. So be real with your emotions. Don't try to just shove them under the carpet. Really say, what is the truth in this emotion that I'm feeling? So if you're not feeling anger or any type of discord and you're feeling a lot of joy and happiness, that's great because that's going to accelerate the energy and create a higher vibration in your energy field to help you navigate through the external things that are going to happen with this energy. That probably will happen. I don't know what's going to happen, but typically the Pluto Saturn conjunct hasn't happened in 38 years. The last one was in 1982. And when they do happen, when Pluto and Saturn come together in alignment, all these external forces, governments, financial institutions, a lot of corporate greed, all this stuff comes to the surface with this because this is what Saturn and Pluto do. They're the root. They're the kind of like that Kundalini energy. They dig down into the root of what's really happening and bring it to the surface, which is usually in the form of corruption, lying, stealing, all of the things that need to be exposed so that we can move into a more coherent world of living in love and light. So radical self-care, dig deep, rise strong, feel and deal with the emotions, find truth in the emotions and the mother energy. So that was the first part of the themes that came through from the angels. And the second part was that as we are evolving, Sandalphon came through with the evolution card, which I thought was really cool because that's the whole theme of this next decade is how we are evolving. And are we evolving through heart and soul? Or are we evolving through mind? So this heart and soul energy is coming forth. Higher heart consciousness is which I teach in the inner leader movement and through the hearts of the angels. There's this unity of heart. So the angels' hearts are constantly wanting to come in to assist us. But again, we live on a planet of free will, so they're not going to come in unless we ask them. So that was the other theme was ask the angels and guides for help and to navigate through this intense energy time of these astrological events. Focus on the heart and create coherent energy fields. And that's what I teach in Heart Math is to take breaths into the heart and activate positive emotions so that we can create that coherent field outside our heart. The electromagnetic field of the heart, the actual physical heart can be measured 6 to 8 feet, I believe it is, outside the heart. And what we are feeling in our heart gets broadcast in that coherent field. So it's create coherent energy fields, focus on the heart, observe from a higher perspective. I thought this was really interesting too. And this comes up with Sandalphon is like, go higher, 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 and observe from that higher perspective of what's happening on earth with the external. Don't get pulled into that drama. And the other theme was response versus reaction. And so learning to respond to what's happening externally by going inward is going to help you as everything starts to fall apart and get really chaotic. It already is. You know, we have an impeachment going on here in the United States. We have a situation with Iran. There's these fires in Australia. There's all kinds of things happening on the earth right now that we could react to, or we could respond by sending out more love, light, compassion, forgiveness in our heart's coherent field. It's really, really super important to do that during this time. And then come together. So if you're feeling a lot of joy and happiness right now, and you don't have anything major going on that needs to be healed or released, and you're really feeling, help somebody else. Bring that beautiful energy of that joyful love and that high vibration feeling that you're feeling so that you can help others. So that's the come together. And then let's see, observe from a higher perspective. We covered the heart, come together, response versus reactions. Those were the main themes. The other angel that came through in this to help us with this full moon lunar eclipse, love this. And they actually came through together. So Jophiel and Uriel are working together. So the more that you forgive yourself for all the mistakes and everything that you have made and the choices that you have made, and mother yourself and take care of yourself, there is this beautiful freedom that comes through with Uriel. So Uriel and Jophiel are working together to help you forgive and to feel this freedom once you forgive, because the more unforgiveness we hold, the more we are held prisoners. And then Sandalphon brings through evolution. But there was one thing I thought about the thought process. There was one thing that came up about the thought processes changing. So the angels were saying the more positive thoughts, the more positive feelings that you can feel in your heart and learn to respond with love, compassion, and forgiveness, that sends a message to the brain to think more positively. A lot of times we say we're going to think positive thoughts, but we're not really feeling them. So those were the main themes for the full moon lunar eclipse for angel astrology for January 10th, and it streams into the 11th. Tomorrow, I may jump on and do a very detailed report about this Pluto Saturn conjunct and what we can do to navigate through that energy. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. What happens externally is going to happen. It happens all the time. Things go away. People go away. But what's eternal is your light, your heart, your heart's beautiful intuitive intelligence, your love. That's eternal. That's what we can always turn to as these external events are pulling, creating all this drama and all of this pull outside of us. We can always go in and find that special place in our heart, in our soul, and connect with your angels and your higher self and your spirit guides. They are willing and want to help. As you can tell, it's time for me to get off because my other angel assistant, Indigo Mystic, is barking for dinner. I just realized it's almost 7 o'clock here. So namaste. Just feel the love inside of yourself. Forgive, forgive, forgive. Come into this beautiful freedom energy and know that everything is evolving and we are right there evolving with it. Mother Earth, all of the situations that are happening, and we can do it through a lot more love and light. All right, I look forward to meeting with you on probably tomorrow. I'll be jumping on a little bit more about this Saturn-Pluto conjunct with angel astrology. I'll tune in. If they have any additional information, I'll jump on. If not, I will see you for the Monday mantra on Monday Live. Okay, Indigo's really insistent. All right, lots of love and light, everyone. Bye.